Right, today we're going to make a basket liner for this Easter basket. I just picked this up at Walmart just to make sure that we're working on the same thing here. The bottom is about 6 inches across, and then the top of it is about 8 inches. So to get started, I have my 1/4 yard piece of fabric that I purchased. I thought the purple kind of coordinated lovely with that piece there. And I still have this folded from where it was off the bolt, so I have it double-sided there. And then I do have templates available. If you want to do it on your own, you are more than welcome. But if you want it easy and done for you already, I do have a link for these in the description of this video here. And then along with my rotary cutter, and we will get started. So if you're wanting to do this on your own, the circle for the bottom is 6.5 inches because I have room for that seam allowance. If you have a fabric marking pen, go ahead and use that. I'm using a Sharpie just so that you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to trace my circle on the fabric. And circles are a little tricky. If you're off and you're adding, if you're going a little bit past where the template is, it's going to make a big difference if you're doing that all the way around when you come to assemble this, just because the circumference is multiplied quite quickly there. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I'm using my rotary cutter. It seems to work really well for me, a lot quicker than a scissors, but work with what you have. All right, looks like I have some skips here with my rotary. I'm gonna have to get a new blade on there. Hate when that happens. All right, so I have my circle cut. And the next we're going to do the 2 side parts that are gonna kind of drape over the edge of the basket. To do that, I'm gonna cut them out at the same time. So I'm gonna fold my fabric. I'm gonna make 2 layers of my fabric, kind of right sides facing here. And I'm going to take my template. Again, these links to these templates are available in the description. And I'm going to just place that against the bottom so it's one less cut that I have to do. And then I'm going to trace. And then we will cut out both at the same time so they are identical images of each other. All right, so remove your template and then go ahead and use your rotary cutter and cut. I'm also going to use my ruler just to make sure my lines are actually straight, and it cuts a lot quicker that way. And then these bottom little notch outs, I will just do that by hand. So now we have our fabric pieces ready to be assembled. So the next step is going to be to get this top edges hemmed up, and we will do that next. All right, so I have my pressing mat here. Go ahead and take one of the pieces, and we're going to just make hems across the top and the side here as well. If you're wanting to do like a 1/4 inch fold and then fold it again by about 1/2 inch, you can certainly do that. Since this is an Easter basket liner and it's not going to be washed very often, I'm just going to do a quick and easy way. I'm just going to fold it over by the width of my little notch that I have here, and then I'm going to press it with my iron. And then I will repeat it to this other side over here. And then the top edge, we will do kind of that same, excuse me, that same width of a fold across the top. And with these corners, you can see it does line up okay like that. If you're wanting to make it a little bit more of a crisp of a corner, you can kind of make fold it down by 45 degrees like that, and then do your fold. I'll show you how that looks here in a second. So I'm just going over by a 45-degree angle just to kind of match. I'm starting that fold right where that raw edge of this fold is. I'm going to do the same on this side here. And then we will come down across the top like that. And it will just make those corners a little bit more crisp on appearance-wise when we finish this. Okay. Looks like I need more water in my iron. But anyway, I'm going to pin this down so that when we go to sew it, it'll stay how I want it. But we'll repeat it then for this piece as well. So we'll get started to sew this here. I'm starting with this short edge here on the side. I'm going to go about a scant 1/4 inch from that folded, or I'm sorry, from that raw edge. All right when I get to where that mitered corner is, where it meets there with my needle, I'm going to put my needle down and my presser foot up so that I can pivot. And then I can turn this way, and then now we'll do the long edge of this piece here next. Same thing when I get to where that fold is in the fabric, I'm going to put my needle down, presser foot up, pivot, and then finish the short edge, stopping right at the bottom here. You can see then how that corner looks, and it looks nice and crisp and pointed on the front side. Do repeat the same steps for that next piece, that next layer, so that they're both the same. Now that we have our edges here on the top hemmed and looking nice and polished, we're going to sew these two pieces together to make kind of that circular form. So stack them together, right sides facing, and we were going to be sewing these two notched edges here, just those two short edges. That's all we're sewing together right now. And so pin them together, and I use just 2 pins on each side. And same for this one here. Right sides facing, pinning them together. Next, we'll take this over to the machine and we'll sew that together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, followed by a zigzag stitch. All right, so we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to start right up here, a 1/4 inch, all the way up to extending past here. So I'm actually starting right where the end of my thumb is, right here. And we're going to just follow that angle all the way down. So you can see that's my 1/4 inch there. Now we're going to do a zigzag stitch, the exact same line as we did before. So what that zigzag stitch will do is it'll prevent that fabric from fraying. So we are ready to do that next side. We'll do the exact same thing, straight stitch and then a zigzag stitch. All right, we have both sides sewn together, and now we're ready for that last step. I'm so excited. Now that we have that sewn together, you can see it's kind of taking form. The next step is to attach the bottom of the basket liner to the sides of the liner. I have a non-directional print, so it doesn't matter to me which way this faces, but if you have a preference, you can see when we assemble this that the side notches here are going to be where the handles of the basket go, and so if you want to pick how you want that to go, now would be the time to do it. Again, mine doesn't matter, so I'm just going to pick part of my side of mine and then match up the raw edges of my liner to the raw edge of the circle at any location here, and just put a pin in there. And then you're going to just pivot over to the side, not pivot, just scooch over a little bit. And again, make sure that those raw edges are in alignment. And then work your way around the entirety of this circle. I will speed up the camera so that you don't have to spend all day watching me pin this, because this is, again, the most tedious step of this whole project. But once it's done, we'll be done. I'm excited for that. So here's the speed up for you. So now you can see I have the whole circumference of that circle pinned to the side of my basket, and now we're ready to sew this on the machine using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then again we're going to repeat with a zigzag stitch. So we'll go do that next. So we're ready to sew the bottom or the base. And with this, sometimes when you have this non-curved top piece with the circle, you have to make sure that sometimes it can want to go like this on you, and then you're going to notice that when you flip it right side out. So take the time to adjust your fabric so that it's laying nice and even as you're stitching along. So I will again speed up the camera during the sewing process. I'm about a 1/4 inch from the edge of the fabric. right, so now we're going to do that zigzag stitch next. Same thing. I'll speed up the camera so you don't have to watch it the whole time. There you have it. Now let's go see how it fits. So now we have our liner, and there's no reason to turn it right side out because it's going to insert into the basket like this. So grab your basket and then line up your notched corners with the handles. And then it's intended then to fold over the edge like so. I just pushed my bottom circle portion down deep into there. And then we are complete. Oh my goodness, that's so cute. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and feel free to share with me your finished projects.